How is everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Sunday business lessons. Every Sunday for about 1 hour. I'm live across the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, just to share a few thoughts, few insights, practical insights, um, to help a few people who are connected to me across these platforms, most especially those who are either business folks or those who are about to venture into business. For those of you who don't know, I am a family office architect. Uh, I run a consulting company that makes me a consultant. I'm the lead consultant of Shell Ambassador Global Tech, the company uh, created for the purpose of solutions architecture and business building, business coaching. I've been on an entrepreneurial journey for 2 decades now, since 2006. I've learned a lot. There's been all kinds of, I've failed a lot as well. And I've been able to generate solid insights that I've deployed in my different ventures, that I've deployed in the ventures of the different people I've had to consult for and consult with. And is the reason why I have the authority and the audacity to share the salient insights I've been able to gather in the past 2 decades. So welcome. Can you power tap your screen and share the live? Invite your friends. Let's have more people join us. Type hashtag Sunday business lessons in the comment section. Type hashtag Sunday business lessons in the comment section. With all that is happening in the world right now, I see how that a lot of people are straitjacketed, right? I see how that they are struggling extremely to survive. And I feel that one of the reasons that is so is because they have not defined what I like to refer to as survival baseline. I've said it before that survival is not to be demonized. The survival stage of life is not to be demonized. I'm not one of those people who demonize it, because I know that it is an infrastructure for planning. Survival is an infrastructure for planning. And when I see people demonize it, I'm just like, maybe they don't have that extended view of life. That's why they are demonizing survival, right? If you want to thrive in this world, if you want to power a dream that goes beyond generations, transgenerational dreams, transgenerational visions, it is important for you to determine or define your baseline of survival. They say that if there is life, there is hope. That is the definition of survival. I see people who they shift the survival once some good money starts entering their hands. and they overbloat their capacity for survival. But you see, the only time you should literally upgrade your lifestyle is if and when you cross over to freedom. That is the only time you should upgrade your lifestyle. I've seen people move from getting a job of 300,000 naira per month to 350,000 naira per month, and they want to upgrade their lifestyle. I'm like, just just 600,000 naira increase in a year is what you think, why you think you should upgrade your lifestyle. It is not even about the difference in the salary. It is about coming to the point of freedom, crossing over to freedom, economic and financial freedom. That is the only justification for upgrade of lifestyle. Until then, live in tandem with your baseline of survival. We live in a world where a lot of premium is placed on fakeism. I'm sure you've heard the statement, fake it till you make it. They have placed a high premium on fakeism. So a lot of people are living an over bloated lifestyle, a lifestyle they cannot afford simply because they want to appear to have made it. They want to appear to have made it to people who don't give a hoot ass about them. They want to appear to have made it to people who don't give a hoot ass whether they live or die. They want to buy the latest clothing, the latest fashion brand to prove to people who don't give a hoot ass about them that they are something. You know, I had to hit ground zero for me to be able to understand this, in my earlier entrepreneurial journey. Because I listened to the motivational speakers who advised me to fake it till I make it in the earlier days. And it only led me to a place of frustration. And I had to begin to reorientate myself, re-advise myself, right? We live in an age where people in their 20s and 30s think first of what they want to buy before they think of what they want to build. One of my biggest regrets in life is that I didn't have a credible mentor who could have helped me with next level clarity in my 20s. That's my biggest regret in life. Even though I started my entrepreneurial journey at 21, it was mostly, guesswork, trial and error, waste waste of resources. One of the reasons why I do what I do, one of the reasons why I come live, you know, Sunday business lessons, um, conversations with CEOs, what else? Club 900 is because I want to be able to be visible to emerging entrepreneurs, emerging business owners who might not have credible people that can offer mentorship to them. In my doing this, I've been able to meet a lot of people, a lot of young people, and I've been able to offer some kind of mentorship and coaching to them, right? Young people think first about what to buy. long before they think, that's even if they think about it at all, about what to build. Anything you buy, anything you budget to buy, somebody built, somebody designed it, somebody architected it. The question is, why not you? There are four important whys that anyone who wants to engineer a legacy in this world needs to ask themselves. First is, you need to know your why, the why of your existence, the why you want to you're on this earth, the important things you want to accomplish in this world, your why, right? You need to know your why not. If there is a why, there is a why not. That's second. Number three is, why not me? Why can't I engineer a solution for the epileptic power supply that we're experiencing in Nigeria, in Africa? Why can't I architect, design and architect and build a solution to the drainage problem in Lagos? Why can't I architect a solution to the quality potable water in Lagos, in some parts of Lagos, for example? Why not me? The fourth why is, why not now? See, virtually all through today, all I was doing was next level strategies, because I've experienced some kind of downturn in the outcomes of my business. Today, I just decided that it is going to be a full day of super strategic session. And man, I came up with next level strategies. Just maybe like 7, 8 hours. I posted a video a couple of days ago where I said that you don't need more than 72 hours to literally change your life. And I mean it. The 72-hour protocol is real. See, I've experienced different kind of downtimes in my 2 decade entrepreneurial journey. And I can tell you the specific things I did at the different times to pivot those downturns. I'm currently experiencing one right now. And I am deploying certain strategies to pivot it. And I'm going to pivot it. It's not the first time, and it's not going to be the last time. Right? You need to quit relating with any human without precisely generated data about them. The reason why a lot of people struggle for too long in this world is because they are traveling blind. They are groping in the dark. A dataless life is a life tantamount to someone who is groping in the dark. Data is everything. The question is, what data do you have? What data do you have? Data is your superior instrument for effectively navigating this world. Data, any human being you are doing anything with, whether the person is your employer, whether the person is your employee, whether the person is your friend, whether the person is your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiancé, your siblings, your family members, your parents, your grandparents. You see, the way you are going to be a powerful human to anybody is on the basis of the peculiar data you've been able to harness about them. They say, you know, a man and a woman date each other, right? Dates. It's a play around data. Dating is data collecting. Dating is data collection. Relationship building is about data collection. You are not assuming. It is only naive people that still run any kind of relationship from the standpoint of assumption. That's naivety. And it is guaranteed that you are going to end up in a place of frustration. Without data, frustration is guaranteed. I promise you. When you are not intentional about generating unique data about a person, about a place, about an entity, you are literally corrupting the potential of your future. That's what you're doing, right? And how do you generate data? How do you generate data for people? By asking the right questions. And not just asking the right questions, by asking uncomfortable questions. You see a guy and a lady, they're just about to start dating. They don't want to ask uncomfortable questions simply because, most especially for the guys, including the ladies, but most especially for the guys, simply because they don't want to chase that lady away because their number one goal is to have sex with that lady. So they don't want to ask uncomfortable questions. Those are not men; those are boys. See, and it's not just one uncomfortable question. You should come up with a grocery list of uncomfortable questions to ask the people that you stumble upon in your journey of life. Come up with a list. See, let people call you names. It doesn't matter. People have called me names. People have called me names many years ago, and today they are seeking me out. Because for the longest time possible, for the longest time I can remember, I've always asked uncomfortable questions. Right? When it comes to the recipe for success, when it comes to wielding or deploying the recipe for success, there are five important things that you pay attention to. Five important things. Number one is people, the right people, quality people. Number two is institutions. You need the right institutions. A business is an institution. If it does not pivot to an institutional level, it is not going to scale. That's guaranteed. Number three is markets. Markets. Number four, systems. And number five, structures. With these five recipes, wielding them appropriately, wielding them with clarity, integrating them intelligently, you are guaranteed to achieve success eventually in this world. It's guaranteed. An institution is a well coordinated setup for gaining access to knowledge, gaining access to expertise, gaining access to mentorship, gaining access to apprenticeship. Those are institutions. Right? See, 99% of the people in this world are not prepared for success. 99%. And it's not an exaggeration. I mean, there are many people who have joined this life, but they did not stay because I'm not talking about it's not entertaining. I'm not talking entertainment. And if you do the math, if we end this life, maybe in total, maybe 100 people joined the life. They just joined. They did not stay for few. They did not stay beyond few seconds. They left. Maybe at the end of this life, maybe 120 people joined. But so far, I've only seen like 5 people per time. Right now, it's 3 people that are here. Despite the fact that more than 30, 40 people have joined this life since I started this life because they are not ready. They are not. They are not proactive about powering a life of success. And it's the same people that turns around to be blaming the government when they are not even playing their own part. People, institutions, markets, systems, structures. The question is, how many of these 5 recipes do you have in place in your life? How many? Yesterday, on the Conversations with CEO, Conversation with CEOs program that we had on IG, we talked about, we didn't even finish it, but we talked about 5 important things. We talked about the paradox of introversion and extroversion. The paradox of introversion and extroversion. A lot of people label themselves as introverts or extroverts, while some refer to themselves as ambiverts, which is a smart move. But those who refer to themselves as introverts, they are shortchanging their capacity to achieve success in this world. Same as those who strictly just refer to themselves as extroverts, they are shortchanging themselves. See, you are not an introvert and you're not an extrovert. I know people say it's a personality type, but I beg to they disagree. Introversion is an instrument, just as extroversion is an instrument. Introversion is for the purpose of incubating next level solutions. It's for the purpose of finding yourself, anchoring yourself. When we talk about meditation, that is part of the instrument of cultivating introversion. Very, very important. Introversion, the role of introversion is very important in your journey as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, as whatever. Someone who is your career path, you want to achieve some kind of uncommon success. You need to master the science of introversion. Yes. But labeling yourself as an introvert is demeaning your sovereignty, debasing your sovereignty, because you are more than an introvert, just as you are more than an extrovert. Introversion is for having a cocoon where you carry out reflective thinking, critical thinking, creative incubation, creative thinking. Extroversion is for communicating your innovations, your solutions to the world. There are people who say that they have some next level solutions, but nobody knows about it. They're literally best kept secrets because they've not learned how to marry both introversion and extroversion. They have allowed motivational speakers to mislead them into labeling themselves as introverts or extroverts. A balanced human needs both, right? So it is pretty important that you understand some of these things. This is how, or this is part of how you are going to uh, marshal yourself as an authority in the industry you operate in, without which you're just going to be a pushover in your industry. I go through challenges every now and then, but I'm not a pushover in my industry, right? Another thing we were supposed to talk about yesterday was competence, structure, and systems. Competence, structure, and systems. If anybody have any question, you can either send a request and come up. For those of you on TikTok, if you are on the other platforms, you can come over to meet us on TikTok if you have any question. If you like to um, ask your question verbally, right? You want to come up, just navigate your way to TikTok, right? At Show Ambassador TV. That's the answer. Now, one of the things that I tell business people is to be intentional about partnering with the right people. You need to be intentional about partnering with the right people because business building is a group sport. You are going to be intimidated in the marketplace if you are working solo. You are going to be liable to intimidations, all kinds of creative intimidations, if you are working solo as a business person. You need to belong to the right ecosystem. You need to belong to the right masterminds because you are going to be liable to being bullied by other groups. Because see, the world is ruled by groups. The world is ruled by gangs. When it comes to the economy of this world, when it comes to the economy of marketplaces, working solo is dangerous. You need the alliances of the right people. You need allies in your marketplace. You need the right allies in the marketplaces that you operate in the industry you operate in. Without which you are going to, it is very easy for you to be bullied out of that market. They say that there is strength in numbers. It is true. It is true. If you are not proactive about initiating the right partnerships, you are susceptible to being bullied. Now, when it comes to competence, structure, and systems, you need to really be able to let the marketplace know that you have the right level of competence. And when we talk about competence, we're just talking about skill sets and willpower, basically. Your skill and your willpower. Competence is a combination of skill set and willpower. There are people who have certain skills, but their willpower is weak. They get discouraged because maybe they have not had some patronage in a while. Your competence is in doubt. Your competence is going to be in doubt in the marketplace. See, if I've not made money for 2 months, you will not know. I will show up every day as if I'm making money. That's the difference between me and a lot of other people like me. It is competence is equal to skill set plus willpower. both of them has to be present for the competence equation to be valid. If they are not present, your competency is not valid, right? It is important for you to create what is called a competence map for your business. You need to create a competence map for your business. And what that means is you list the critical functions for carrying out your business: sales, operations, finance, accounting, administration. That is what constitutes your competence map. And that is how you are going to wake up every day to be able to deploy your business from the standpoint of competence. That is a simple definition of competence. The next is structure. Structure is the architecture of accountability, right? It is about knowing who does what in your business. That is structure. That is structure simplified. Knowing who does what, right? Knowing who does what and how what they do is measured. That is structure. Because without this, all you're going to be doing in your business is to keep firefighting. And you can firefight your way into oblivion. You can firefight your business into oblivion. Right? Structure. You have to create an organizational chart based on functions and not on people. Because that is the only way you are going to be able to easily replace a non-performing employee if you have an organizational chart that is based on function and not based on people. Because if you base it on people, the moment someone just leaves, you are held to ransom, right? And even if you are just a team, a business of two staff, you still need to know who does what. Even if one person does three things in that business, you still need to have it written down, right? This is structure. If you do not clearly define the roles in your business, you don't have a business. And definitely, you don't have a scalable business, right? Now, for systems, when it comes to systems, system is the machine of your business. It is a business machine you build. That is system. It is a machine with which you power and run your business. And it is something you are going to build. Every new business requires at least 24 months to build a real functional system. 24 months, give or take. That's why I see folks who started a business and 6 months they have abandoned that business, they are starting another business. They don't understand anything. You can't even understand a business. You can't claim to understand a business if you have not spent at least 24 months in that business. At least 2 years. You don't understand it enough in 6 months, in 12 months. You don't. But most people who come into business get tired after 3 months. Right? Systems are the recipes of your business. They ensure your business produces the same high standard outcomes every time. right? Over and over again. That is a system. An Italian fashion company can produce 100,000 pieces of suit and they're all going to look identical because they have a system in place, right? And it is regardless of who is working on the system. For as long as you have architected and built the system, replace the people working for you, you are still going to be able to produce the same high standard outcome that you engineered the system on the back of, right? The knowledge of how to run your business should not just be trapped in your head. It should not just be trapped in your head. It should be recorded, it should be refined, and then it should be repeatable. Without which, you don't have a business yet. Without which, you're not going to be able to keep generating the same high grade outcomes. You won't, right? It is pretty important that we understand these things, without which we are not yet in business, without which we cannot power a business successfully, without which we cannot scale a business. When I come in contact with anybody, I want to carry out some kind of assessment on them. I don't joke with it. I don't joke with evaluations. I don't joke with assessments. People call me proud. I don't mind. It's a compliment as far as I'm concerned. I am not the kind of person that wants to wait for 2 months before I get to know you. From the very first day, I know the questions to ask you. Let alone if you introduce yourself to me as a business person. I'm going to strip you naked very quickly. Because I am someone who is positioned in this world to partner with business people, to form alliances with business people. Because those are the kind of people that I take seriously in this world. Business people or professionals. People who are taking their career path very seriously. They take the initiative, the right initiatives for pivoting their competence, for investing in their competencies and things of that nature. So I'm not one of those people who just want to make friends for friendship's sake. I don't even do friendship. Because my own friendship, the standard of my friendship is too high. Before you can become my friend, maybe we have done a business of at least 10 million naira. At least. Before you can become my friend. 10 million naira at least. Because for me, I'm too old to be looking for friends. I'm a man powering my life on the back of substance. I'm 41 years old. I'm no longer a child. I'm now powering my life on the back of, even before I clock 40, I've been doing that. Let alone now. I expect that you have been building your life before I met you. Now we want to join forces together as assets. Not that I want to babysit you first. For what? I don't have that time. You're either an entrepreneur or you're not. If you are, then let's forge some kind of alliance. If you're not, go build yourself first. Or you need me to build you. Okay, I have an apprenticeship platform. Go join there. I'll start building you there. Oh, okay. You need mentorship. Pay for mentorship. Okay, you want to pay for coaching. Then we can do that. Besides that, I don't have time to babysit anybody. Because life is too short, man. Life is too short. I want to do deals with people, serious people in business. I want to do deals in 9 figures. 100 million naira, 200 million naira, 500 million, 1 billion. I want to do deals, not all these childish validations. I'm not interested in that, right? I trust that I've been able to share some few insights, and I trust that you've been able to gain one or two things from this. Every Sunday, I come live for about 1 hour, 7 p.m. Nigerian time, to share salient insights as to how to build your business, how to start a business, what to do, what not to do, and what not, right? So, if anybody have any question, now is the time for you to ask your question. Because if you don't have any question, I'm going to be ending the live shot. For those of you who are not aware, we recently launched a club called Club 900, and it's an elite club. It's a club designed for those who have been able to achieve some next level success in their business or in their career. They've been able to put aside some 9 figure in net worth, 100 million naira and above, and they are ready for some kind of capital formation and capital alliance investment, right? Club 900 is for folks who are ready for next level capital deployment, right? And to become a member, you need to apply. And to apply, you send an email to club900 at showambassadorglobal.com. So, there is a lifetime membership fee of $1,000, or its equivalent. It's equivalent in Naira or any other currency. And then there is a criteria of having a net worth of 100 million naira. That is, I mean, if you don't have a net worth of 100 million naira and you have 1 million naira access fee, we are still not going to accept your application, because it's not about the access fee. It's about the capital formation deployment. It's about the capital formation alliance, right? So if maybe you are looking for a platform where um, you can be introduced to next level um, assets that you can invest in, where you can partner with